today we'll be talking to Mr. Marshall, who is the chairman of the Linstead Development Area Committee in respect to the recently held Linstead Ackee and Jerk Festival. Thank you so much, Mr. Marshall, for being here.
Thank you for welcoming me. Thank you for having me. It's great for me to be here.
How did the initiative of the Linstead Ackee and the Jerk Festival came about?
This initiative actually started in 2005 with the former executive who was in place. And the purpose of this initiative actually is to bring community groups together. There's actually 6 groups within that area, and there are about 100 districts within the particular space. So the initiative came to bring the groups together and also to create the local initiative to it, in the sense that will allow entrepreneurs to come and to sell goods and to be a part of the festival. They could get an income. Because we have some local initiative persons who does flowers, some does plants, other persons do meals, so we can invite them to come in and to sell on that particular day as well.
When the initiative started, would you say it was welcomed by the general public within the Linstead aerospace?
As with general ideas, when things are new and it is introduced, not many persons buy into the idea, because most of the persons will tell you, oh, I don't eat ackee. And you hear, but it's not only ackee, it's actually Ackee and Jerk Festival.
Right.
So you can always come and have the jerk side to it. So when it started, no, I wouldn't think would have accepted it as is immediately, but persons would have grown into accepting the concept of the festival over the years. Because it's actually, this one would have added actually the 17 staging. So if we have been coming from 1 to 17, it seems as if we'd have had ups and downs, and actually would have been here for 17 years.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yes, it is.
Years.
17 years.
Wow. How would you describe the journey from inception to current?
Well, the journey with the fest, it has had its ups and its downs, in the sense that there are years that nothing was made, maybe based on advertisement, maybe based on arrangement, and one of the key part of it is actually sponsorship.
Right.
So with that, not having much sponsor over the years, they may just have to have, because we have had different segments to it. One here, we had it in the town of Linstead, and that was a big one, because it was out in the town, just openly in the town. Then we had it at, different groups, different locations within the town of Linstead, and then the concept came bigger when you wanted to make funds from it as a fundraiser. Then the idea was to put it to a central controlled space where you'll be able to make some collection from it. So we'd have said we'd have tried different avenues, different types of it, and then maybe settling now on the best one in terms of having an entry fee to that part of it.
Tell us about the Linstead and Ackee Jerk Festival.
The event is actually would have been on the 17th of October. This year, actually, it's a good feeling in terms of we have been out for 2 years for COVID, and being out for 2 years, persons really wanted somewhere to go.
Right.
And to know that it's actually a calendar event and making to become a calendar event, persons were expecting, wanted to go somewhere. If you realize if you have a little jump and sound on the outside and you say it's a little party,
yeah,
persons are there. So persons actually want to go out, and because of it is like one of the only staging in terms of a community togetherness that is actually in the Lindsay within that part, especially on the holiday. So it's actually something that persons are looking forward for, want to be a part of, want to go, can't miss it, that kind of thing. The events, we have different kinds of activities throughout the day. For example, because we thought of it as a whole family approach. It's a holistic approach with the family, so you could bring out everybody. So it's a fun, food, fellowship. So we started as far as to the basic school, little babies, the kindergartens. So we started with them with the cheerleading competition among the basic schools within the Linstead area. And then we also had competition for the primary school, which is a poster competition.
Okay.
And then from the poster competition, we had leveled it to the high school, where the high school students will be able to participate in the band competition. And then we have from 15 to 17, so we put it from 15 to 25 years, we would have crowned the Miss Linstead Ackee and Jerk Festival Queen. Okay. So the female within that particular age will be able to have the bragging rights for this year to become the queen. So, and these girls are actually stemming from the different communities that we have within the DA. On the day we're actually having we have Ackee twist, we had pumpkin punch, we had Ackee and tofu, almost everything you can think about.
Ackee wrap?
With Ackee wrap, yes. And you have the regular, that what I like, the Ackee and saltfish, which is regular. Don't give me the other names. And some people have the Ackee and the chicken back, Ackee and corn pork. There are so many things. Because Ackee, because Linstead is kind of central. You have your Ackee called Linstead Market. So thinking about Linstead Market as a brand, you think about Linstead in itself. Being Ackee, you'd want to focus on Ackee.
How would sponsors, if sponsors want to be a part of this event, calendar event, how do they get involved?
Well, I know most companies may not like, social media. So actually, they can contact me. I could give 2 numbers.
Sure.
There's a flow number, which is 547-3856. So that's 547-3856. And the digital number is 363-9313. Don't forget the 1876, right? And also on our Facebook page is actually Linstead_DAC on Facebook. And then on our Instagram page, it is Linstead DAC. So those are some of the ways that they can communicate with us. We're on social media. We're on Instagram and basically use Facebook. Those are the 2 mediums we use so far. So persons can communicate with us through our social media platform, or even through directly contacting us accordingly, or even through our list or other sponsors that we would have had. Persons can communicate with us.
How would you describe the growth over the years and this accomplishments?
For me, 17 years. It's a long time. And other stuff would have been done. This time around, we have selected to do a project at our local fire station, that is the Linstead Fire Station. We want to give it a facelift. And, based on investigation, the other stuff that is needed, that we are doing some work on presently. The lighting system and all that. And we have started it. Actually, we almost completed the lighting system with assistance with Windalco. At this point in time. So I would say that this time around, it will be a landmark in the 17 year.
How would you describe this year's staging of the Linstead Ackee and Jerk Festival?
Apart from fun, food and fellowship?
Yes.
Because I know there was a lot of fun. There was a lot of food, and the fellowship was lovely. It was really lovely this time around. You could see that people really wanted to fellowship, really wanted to be out, really want, just to be out there having fun. I mean, the weather was a very good weather this time around. And I mean, just being there, it was a really good year. The turnout was is like a deterrent to some persons to say, I wanted to see maybe 1,000. Because I actually wanted to see 2,000 persons, really. That was my target. Yes. However, we didn't have 2,000. We'll have over 300, 400 persons. And what I'd realized this time around, the patrons we had would have been an in and out kind of patron. We didn't have 50 or 500 or the 700 stand in one place, but we have that persons come in, get their meal and go. Coming to see what was happening, be a part of the entertainment, be a part of the sampling, and they'll just go. But it could be mentioned that they were there. So I think, it was generally based on reports and based on, information from different CDCs, would have said that would have had a good year, and persons would have said it was the best year. But each year something is the best until something comes again. Right. So yes, I would say that it was good.
What are your expectations for next year's staging in terms of competition and sponsors?
We're really grateful this time around to have had the King Landing Deli Station and Service Station to have been a part of the sponsors this year. And among the sponsors, we would have had True Juice, True Shake, would have had Rum Bar, would have had SDC, with Blings, Planning and Entertainment, would have had Sun City, would have had this time around Chase Fund, would have had our great Expressive Media, Jamaica. Really grateful when I just get to meet them. Airport authorities, as far as the RADA, we had the Yorton CDC, Shays Growth Sound System, the Douglas Funeral Home in our area, we had AP and RP. And these are some of the most of the sponsors we'd have had this time around. And I mean, we're really grateful to all of them. I know that all these sponsors will be on board again next year. But in terms of bigger, I'm thinking about other persons, other companies who may want to be a part, as far as even Digicel to be a part of our staging for the 18th stage of our Linstead Ackee and Jerk Festival. Because one of the weaknesses we'd have had is that what we wanted this year is to actually have a name brands, title in terms of a artist. So for a stage show, we'd really love to have an artist for next year. And we know that the artists can be very expensive. Based on that, if a sponsor being in that department, I know next year would be bigger, better, and great. Linstead Ackee and Jerk Festival is actually like a Sunfest sting in our local diaspora.
What can we expect from the Linstead Development Area Committee now that we are somewhat back to normalcy?
Expect from us greatness in terms of trying to bring our communities together. As I mentioned, is actually whenever we talk about LDAC Linstead, we speak about the 6 groups because it is actually 6 CDCs that is within the Linstead Development Area Committee, namely Lloyders Vale, Yorton, Linstead, Treadwells, Guysdale, and Redwood. That covers the entire deep Linstead, which is almost over 100 and odd districts within these CDCs.
Are you affiliated with any charitable foundation?
At the moment, no, we don't really have a selected group, but if you should call it charitable, I would say that the fire station could be one of our group. But I know there are other persons who so far, apart from the Optimist groups, apart of the Rotary, Kiwanians and the different groups, there are service clubs. I know actually there are different groups like, being a part, because actually the project we're going to do, we're going to join forces with the parish council, which is the parish development area committee. And actually this month as well, they will be going to one of the boys' home as a part of our behavior magnification. They'll be going to one of our boys' home, either the one that is near to where the Spanish Town Hospital is, or the one in Gutters. So we will be going there at this time around as a collaborated group to see how best we can give care packages within the month of November, and to see how best we can help the boys within these homes. So far, we have done calls, getting almost permission to actually be a part or to come and to join force to be a part of that kind of group.
Do you find that it is hard in terms of getting support for the different events that you have just mentioned?
Most of the time, it is hard to get sponsorship or persons be willing to. And gonna do something you want if person be willing to give to some entity than to others. But when you check it, not much generally these days. What you have the faithful few that will always give in spite of what you ask for. When you ask, they will actually give accordingly.
Do you get support from the government?
In our group as a PDC or as a LDAC, generally no, we don't. We normally have to get sponsors from corporate, or if it's possible for us to have maybe a fundraiser, because we're a non-profit organization. We're a registered group though. We're registered with the Companies of Jamaica. We're registered, so we can actually, through charitable foundations, we can actually get stuff through coming in based on the organ, because we're a charitable group actually. So persons can always donate to us. Once they donate to us, then we'll donate to the needs within the particular areas.
What next would you like to see happening within the Linstead community?
It's for Linstead to really get to the place where it becomes such a wonderful town, where you will enjoy being in the space. And one of the bad things sometimes about Linstead, we'd have heard sometimes about the crime and violence within the area. And maybe those are one of the areas that we really want to fix. And as a community group, I think we will be able to assist the law-abiding citizens and the police officers to ensure that the laws and the thefts and all that is happening within, maybe not at our doorsteps, but within, you'll hear about communities nearby, communities far away that is having issues. Really want, and the town should really look like a town. And this is that we're having now with garbage right now in the town of Linstead. It's not good, it doesn't look good. And I mean, if we get this, for example, the market to become like a market to what it should be, and get that market to where it is, then some of the persons we're having on the roadside, as in the vendors on the road, and you can't walk on the road, all these things can be fixed. So my vision is to at least see some of these stuff being done, and they can be put together, and then we can have a town that you really want to raise kids and raise family, and really I would want to leave Kingston to live in Linstead because of how clean and nice Linstead is. So I want to say thanks to these special persons who have allowed this year festival to be what it was, and also to say a big welcome, if I may say, a big welcome to our new sponsors and even the same sponsors for this year. So any company, any corporate, I don't want to call any name, but any company whatsoever from wherever locally, or maybe next year it could be Linstead Ackee and Jerk Festival International. Right. So we could have some international sponsors coming in. So, as I'd mentioned the numbers before, you can see the numbers below as well. The numbers are there. They can contact us on our social media. They can also email us if they're willing to come on board for us next year. We have just closed this chapter. However, the planning for 2023 October 18th staging of the Linstead Ackee and Jerk Festival, the planning is already in our heads, and as in short order, about January, we'll be making our correspondence from then. So I'm really happy to be here, and I'm thankful, and I'm just welcoming all the persons who is willing to partner with us, because at the end of it, this time around, we may want to give back to some of our students for the next staging, maybe to a university child or students, or some of the needy students within our communities from the 6th. So maybe it could be your neighbor next time around will be benefiting at the end of the staging of the Ackee Fest. So thanks again. Thanks for having me, and looking forward to see everybody next year.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall, for
You're
taking the
welcome.
time to sit with us. We just spoke with Mr. Marshall, who's the president for the Linstead Area Committee and also one of the organizers for the Linstead Ackee and Jerk Festival. Thank you so much.
Not a problem.